Alright guys, welcome back to Full Moon Hot Rods. I'm going to try to get my rear frame rails back on the coupe that I had cut off when I built the chassis, because I was going to bob it off and just let this little bit stick out with just a spreader bar right here. But I've changed my mind on the way I want to do it, so I want to try to put the 32 Ford gas tank and all on it with the frame rails running out the back. I may have to drop the rails just a little bit, because I know if I put it under this part right here, it's going to be too low. The gas tank, I think the gas tank's going to look out of proportion. So I think I'm going to take this piece here back off again and put the frame rail and the gas tank back under it, and then I'll make corners for it to come down and around to dress it off for the body. How I've done it in the past is I actually cut this panel here, right here, raise it up, and I can't remember, but it seems like it's about an inch or inch and a half. You raise it up, and then you can keep your frame rails at the same angle and height and run a 32 tank on it. But I don't think I want to cut the panel on it. I think I'm going to try to do it and just lower the frame rails just a little bit, enough to clear the tank on this part right here on this line, and then just make my corner pieces to make it dress it off for the body. But let's jack it up and we'll get started on this, trying to see what we're going to do, because it's going to be a process. So let me get this thing jacked up and we'll see what's going on. Alright, you can see if you just hold the frame rail back up there, I mean, that's not even the rim of the gas tank. So it's not going to be anywhere near high enough to do it like that. So, like I say, it's going to be trial and error. So I'm going to go ahead and take this brace here off, and we'll just see what happens. Let's see if we can get this thing unbolted. Alright guys, there's that piece off. Now I think I'm going to have to go here and cut this piece right here off, this inner piece. So I'm going to cut them off on both sides. That'll let the frame go up just a little bit, and we'll see how far I can go up with the gas tank with this off of it. But all right. Let me cut this here off, get it out of the way, because it's in the way for the frame on both sides right here. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've cut the inner structure out right here, but all my structure's up, you know, because I raised floor. So all I did, this was a piece of the original subframe right here to line everything back up. But I went ahead and cut it off where it would clear the frame on both sides. But I still got some grinding and some finishing to do. But now I've bolted the tank together to the back frame rails that I had cut off of here. So now I'm gonna stick it back under there and see if I can get it lined up and see how it's gonna look. I know I'm gonna have to drop it a little bit. The only way I wouldn't have to do that is actually cut into the body across here, raise this belt line up a little bit, and then I could clear it, because I've done it like that on sedans before. But on the coupe, I really hate to cut it, so I'm gonna try it like this and see how it looks. If it don't look right, I'll probably end up cutting the back of the car. All right, there it is. I got the frame rails welded back on and got them squared up and leveled. Got them the same with the body on both sides. So now I've got to raise this panel here up. So I'm gonna go here and mark it across the back and cut this panel off. And then this inner bracing will cut it off. And I'm probably gonna have to cut right into this bead here just a little bit to get the tank to slide in. But first I'm gonna cut this panel, then put my tank up here and see how far into the bead I'm gonna have to cut, because I know I am gonna have to cut into it a little bit. I've toyed with the idea of putting the tank in and making a spacer and mounting it off the bottom of the frame where I didn't have to raise it up so high. But it looks okay like that, but it's still not what I want. I want it to actually sit, you know, on top of the frame like it's supposed to. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut the body, but I may change something if I can get it to work. I may push the gas tank under just a little further and shorten the frame rails up on the back just a little bit to get the tank closer where it's still not really, it won't have that bobbed look, but the tank will be a lot closer in and the gas filler neck will be closer to the body. If I can pull it off, I don't know yet. It looks like it'll work, but in measuring it looks like it may work. It's gonna be real close. So the only way we're gonna know is to cut this panel. So we're fixing to be at the point of no return. So when I cut it, we're gonna have to go with it then, or either order another panel and do away with the 32 tank. And I really want that tank on here, so I'm gonna see what we can do. Okay, I got the tank just setting up here on the frame, and you can see even the shallowest point on the tank is getting into this panel. So I think I got my measurements, so I'm gonna go here and go ahead and mark this and see what we can do. But you can see how much I'm gonna have to cut to get it in there, which is not actually gonna be that much. I just got to cut up high enough to be able to get my bead back in at this lower piece, because I want my bead to go back across. But all right, let's see what happens. All right, I got my panel marked. I had it marked at 3.5, but I got an actual bolt that still bolts into the side of the car right here. And if I can leave that in there, I'd rather leave it, because that'll help hold this panel here in place. It's got a couple more in it, but that's the very bottom one. So I'm gonna cut it on this line here, which is 3 inches up. And I hope that when I cut it out, all I have to do is take this, slide it up, and then go there and tack weld it across, and then just take the cutoff wheel and just go there and cut it in and tack it as I'm going. But let's get this cut off and try to fit the gas tank up there to see how much of this we have to take out. There's the piece I took out. All right, let me set the tank back up there. And I don't want to cut off no more of the brace than I have to, but I know I'm going to end up cutting some just to be able to get the tank up there. So let me set the tank up there and we'll see how it's fitting. All right, guys, you can see it there with the tank setting in place. I need to go here. I don't know. I'm gonna lay me something across here, like this ruler or this yardstick, like that. Then I'll mark the top side of it, cut this here off. But this will help line my panel back up when I go to put it back together. So I don't want to cut no more of this out than I have to. Well, let me see if I can get this marked and we'll cut it out of the way and go ahead and get rid of it. Then we should be able to start notching into this bead right here, and get it where the tank will slide in. All right, that's where I'm gonna cut it off. Alright guys, that brace should be clear now. It should. So let me get some marks on the side here and cut into this piece on both sides and see if we can get the tank to slide up. Alright guys, I got it cut out. I did have to go up just a little bit higher here, and I had to cut the brace off here just a little bit higher. I'm not going to be able to push it, I don't think, as far in as what I was wanting to. So anyway, as long as it'll work back like on the stock position of the frame, I'll still be all right. So let me set the tank up there and let's see how it fits now. I think once I get this panel on it back in, I think that'll finish off and look pretty good. And then when I tie my corners, tie these corners and stuff back in right here, you know, with a piece to go around that, I think that'll make it a world of difference in it. All right guys, we got the panel cut. And this piece here, I cut an inch or two off of it, then put it back in and just tack welded. Right now it's lapped over. And I'm gonna go there now and take the cut off wheel and just cut and tack where it'll be butt welded back together. But everything should work out like this, but we're fixing to find out. So let me get on this and I'll cut it and start tack welding it back together. Alright guys, I got the high spots knocked off the welds. Now I'm going to just dolly it a little bit to get it as straight as I can get it. It's kind of in a bad place to dolly, but I'm going to do what I can with it. One spot right there that's behind that brace. I need to try to dolly that. The rest of it feels real good. And that there's not off hardly at all, but I can feel it just a little bit. Alright guys, that feels pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish welding this in. And I don't know my video all that welding, but I'm gonna go ahead and weld this in and then I'll grind it off and then we'll come back. Guys, there it is, ground off. It's not metal finished or nothing, just ground off. But all that feels real good. So I'm gonna cap these corners right here now, as far as put a flange to the inside, make it finished off. So I'm gonna get on that, which that's pretty simple. Alright guys, there it is. I got it welded up. I went ahead and made my corners right here. Made the inner flange here on this. Let me stick the gas tank in it and we'll put the spreader bar on it, and that way you can see what it's going to look like. Alright guys, that's what it's going to look like, and I think it turned out pretty good myself. All right, guys, that's what it looks like finished up. But y'all let me know what you think. I think it turned out pretty good myself. But I just thought a 32 gas tank would look pretty cool on the back of a Model A, and you'd get the tank out of the back of the trunk or whatever. So it's just whatever you like. That's why we build hot rods. You build them the way you like them, and I kind of like this, so this is where I'm going. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Maybe this will help somebody that's wanting to put a 32 tank on a Model A, or it may discourage them from wanting to put a 32 tank on a Model A. It is a lot of work, but it's the look I was going after. And like I say, hot rods are built for the individual, and you fix them the way you like them, and you just enjoy them. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. Like, share, comment. Be sure to comment. Love to read the comments, and I do my best to answer everybody. But if you keep watching and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Help us out. Help us grow this channel a little bit. And if you're new, hit it. It don't cost you a dime. And guys, we'll check you on the next one later.